In 2019, I heard about a new cruise line being developed by Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Records. The new cruise line was going to be called Virgin Voyages. It was going to be different because it was going to be adults only. Of course, this piqued the interest of Chuck and I, so we signed up for it in 2019 before the ship was even finished being built, to sail in August of 2020 on one of the first sailings from Miami. Unfortunately, COVID delayed those plans, so after booking and rebooking a number of times, we were finally able to go on the ship in July of 2023. And we were super excited during that time period because Virgin's been getting a ton of awards along the way since they rolled out the initial ship. They now have 4 ships: the Scarlet Lady, the Valiant Lady, the Resilient Lady, and the Brilliant Lady. The ships are not huge. You'll see some of the ship's stats here. But I'll talk about some of the differences as we go along in the video. Virgin has its own brand new cruise terminal at the Port of Miami, where Chuck and I departed from on the Scarlet Lady. They also have their own Virgin Voyages app, which is really awesome. I'll talk more about that later.
It is the second day on our Virgin Voyage cruise. On the first day I managed to delete all the video I had made because we're still learning how to use the camera. But getting on the boat was super early. They gave us a time slot, like 3:15. We were here like right on time. Pretty much you just walk on board and have your room number and your phone with you, and they check you in like super fast because you pre-fill a lot of stuff out online before you get on the boat. And they give you these little bracelets here, and that gets you into your room, and it acts as your charge card for your charges. We had dinner last night at Pink Agave, the Mexican restaurant. Ricardo was our waiter, and he was awesome. We had a really great night. I had a photo with him. Oh, look, there's a flying fish. Flying fish and birds. We're watching them off the balcony now.
Pretty sure you got it.
Our balcony, I love our balcony. We're on the 14th floor, so we have this big overhang, which keeps the sun out, and works to keep kind of the rain out. So we were pretty much dry yesterday. And this hammock, the hammock here is my favorite. It's like super, super cool. And you can even put your feet in it and lay like all the way back. It's really awesome. I love the hammock. I would take this home with me if I had a place to hang it. But we have dinner at the Italian restaurant tonight, and we pretty much stayed busy all day today. They have some good music, and we found a really good duo today, and we're going to go hear them again. I'm going to make a video of the boat when it's less crowded early one morning.
One important fact I need to mention before we move forward is that you definitely want to use the app to make reservations in advance before you get on the boat. They put 70% of the restaurant reservations online, and depending upon what level room you have, depends upon how early you can book into those reservations. We weren't able to book anything in advance, but we went to Deck 5 to customer service, and they sent us to Razzle Dazzle, and there were agents there who were able to use those 30% bookings that they had held back in order to give us everything that we needed. So we were super happy about that. Another thing, on embarkation day, you have to do a safety video. And you watch it in your room, check off that you watched it, and then you do have to go to your mustard station at some point and watch them show you how to put on a life vest, but super easy process. We were in room 14158A.
It's really cool because they set the curtains over there normally so that they open during the daytime, and when you come into your room, and when you leave they close so that the sun stays out and keeps the room cooler, which is pretty cool. So to the left we have the bathroom, so I'll show you what that looks like. We have a shower. Our room is a handicap room, so we do have this seat here in the shower. It's a waterfall shower, which is really nice, and they do have soap and shampoo and conditioner. Pretty simple, very functional. I thought it was a good size. Across from the shower, we have our wardrobe area. And we've got our suitcase on this shelf, which sits there. We've got storage up here above. If you need laundry, your laundry's here. Your hanging clothes is here. They give you plenty of hangers. And this is what you hit this button, and it turns the light outside by your number a different color. It turns it red for do not disturb. And then you hit this one when you leave your room and you want your room to be cleaned. There's more storage down here. I don't have anything even in the two of these. And this is only a 5-day cruise, so we didn't have a ton of stuff. The life jackets are in the top. And then we've got a couple of shelves, a bunch of drawers, and a place for shoes. There is a safe here. The safe is a little bit finicky because it runs on batteries, and so I heard a lot of people have problems. We actually also had a problem when we first got in here, but they fixed it really quickly. So this is the room. Our bed is configured to be together. You can also have it turned into like a sofa at times, or 2 separate beds, I believe, as well. So it's modular, kind of different. Big TV, another full-length mirror over here to my right. The bed's pretty comfortable, actually. It doesn't come with a top sheet. That's one thing that's different. So we had to ask to have the top sheet added. That's kind of like MSC. They don't have a top sheet. It's like a European thing. But MSC didn't have washcloths. Here they do give you a washcloth. We have a little desk area. We've got water. They always have water in your room. We've got a refrigerator down here. And what else is there? Oh, this little iPad thing is kind of cool. It allows you to turn the lights on and off for different moods. There's like movie mode and going to bed mode to turn everything out. And I think there's a mode, a get it on mode. It gives you like all these red lights, and it's pretty neat. Chuck's been playing around with all the different functions. It also opens and closes the curtains when you go into some of the modes. So let me open this. And see, they just kind of open. And then you have our little balcony. The handle's up, the air is off. When you put the handle down, the air comes back on. And then this is what we have out here. We've got our little hammock, which is really nice. A little table and 2 chairs. And beautiful ocean.
When it comes to entertainment, Virgin is again unique in its own way. For us, the main entertainment we enjoyed was the music. They had a soloist, singer. They had a solo guitar player who played the guitar very differently, as you can see here. They had a duo, which was totally amazing, the best I've ever heard on any cruise line. They were Italian from Europe, and they'd won lots of awards in Europe. They also had a trio, because we were sailed out of Miami. The trio was a Latin trio, actual karaoke rooms that you could reserve. They had a nightclub called the Manor where you could go dance. So for us, music was a big part of the entertainment. They did have some game shows that we went to. There was the horse races, and there was a race that revolved around coffee. They do have a diva, Carlos, who is a drag queen, and he's a little over the top. He hosted the coffee thing that we didn't know when we went to it, but he was really entertaining. They have some real shows like the dual reality show, which we went to in the theater. It was super cute, kind of like a take on Cirque du Soleil. They had a hypnotist, but we weren't able to get into that because the booking for our dinner reservations early seemed to conflict a lot with booking the shows. The biggest party of all is obviously Scarlet Night. This is the night where there is a ship-wide entertainment centered around everyone wearing red. And it's just a huge party. We really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I've never seen so many people around a pool in my whole entire life. Everybody from the ship was basically there. Chuck and I are foodie people, so food and drink is a top priority for us. And we had heard really great reviews about the food on Virgin Voyages. So first, let's take a look at the restaurants where you can make reservations. The first place that we went was the elevated Mexican restaurant named Pink Agave. You'll notice on the walkthrough of Pinkagave that the restaurant is really not all that big. Most of the restaurants are fairly small, which is why you really should make reservations so that you don't have to wait. You'll notice as you look at our food, in general, it's not American-sized portions. It's more European style with smaller portions, which we like because we can try more different items without eating too much. The chocolate taco dessert was totally amazing, but all of the food was really good. Also, this was one of the best margaritas we've ever had, but we went back later and the second margarita, I guess, was made by someone different and it wasn't as good. We kind of thought we made a mistake because we had such a good night that we were going to be downhill on the rest of the restaurants, but that's not the case at all. Our next reservation was at Extra Virgin for some Italian food. The meatballs were superb and the pasta was just super, super great. We ate way too much and we actually felt bad later. So definitely next time I would skip the big entree with the sea bass and just go pasta all the way. But it was a really great night and again, excellent service. The Wake is the name of the steakhouse. It's located at the back of the ship with beautiful views of the wake of the boat. And they take brunch on certain days. So we made a reservation here for brunch. It was funny because Chuck had a coffee emergency. And just give you a heads up because we weren't the only table that this happened to. When you sit down and get your coffee, the cream is there with another container, which you assume would be sugar. So Chuck loads up his coffee with sugar and he takes a drink of it and almost chokes on it because it was salt. And it was super funny, so we had to flag the waiter down and then he brought the sugar over. So hopefully they learned to put sugar on the table beforehand instead of the salt. But the food here was great. I really love sweets, so I had to get the French toast, but then I wanted to taste the steak and the eggs. So I ended up getting both orders, and thankfully I didn't eat it all, but the food was really excellent. We also went to brunch at Razzle Dazzle. This is the vegan place. They have the nice list, and they have the naughty list.
I had the acai bowl.
And off the naughty list, the sweet spicy bacon, which was really good. Chuck had chicken sandwich from the naughty list. All was great, and again, the service was excellent. Next on the list is the test kitchen. People either love it or they hate it, and we're foodie people, so we absolutely loved it. It's like a restaurant laboratory where they put a twist and spin on the food. So for us, we ended up choosing a drink pairing as well. We heard that there are 2 rotating menu options, like the mushroom. It was like a pureed mushroom shaped like a mushroom, and you had like this crostini that you would spread it on. So it was super, super good. So it was interesting and because everything was a surprise. And the waitress did a really great job. It was just that it was a lot of back and forth carrying out all the dishes, especially with us, because then she had all the drinks to carry out that matched and paired with all of the food as well. So it was a 2.5-hour experience for us, but we enjoyed every minute of it. The manager and the hostess both felt bad that it was taking so long for us, though, and they ended up giving us some free champagne, which was really nice, even though they didn't need to do it. So we didn't think that we could top our experience on that first night at Pinkagave, but for us, the Test Kitchen just blew us away. On the last night of the cruise, we went to Gunbae. This is a lively, social, and hands-on Korean barbecue experience. It was very loud, I will say that. There were lots of shouting during the games that are being played. It was our first Korean barbecue experience. And unlike normal, where you cook your own food from what we've heard, I guess the surveys had a lot of pushback from sailors on Virgin in the start who didn't like cooking their own food. So now they actually will come and cook the food for you. Playing the game was fun. Of course, I was the first one out of our group, but Chuck won. I'm glad as we went to experience it, but the food was really not good enough to go back again. Hopefully, after a while, maybe they'll change it to like an upscale Asian restaurant. Now let's look at some of the restaurants where you can go eat where they do not take reservations. First on the list is pizza. They have, as you walk in the door to the left, pre-made salads that you can grab to go. And then they have the drink section. And I was super excited because this is the first place Chuck and I went after getting on the ship. And they have Rekorderlig cider, which is the best cider that you can buy, and it's from Sweden. Pizzas are all the same size. They're all smalls. And it's the same setup for the whole week. So there are 5 choices that you can select from. It would be nice in the future if they would do like a pizza of the day to change it up just a little bit. Most people would get their pizza box to go. You place your order and then they give you the buzzer, and when your buzzer goes off, you know that your pizza is done. We actually ate there because they had a nice area inside and they had a really nice area to sit at outside. Unique to Virgin is the Galley. This is a food court style concept, but with a twist. As you walk in, you'll notice that there are various drink stations, hot and cold, and there are lots of choices of many little areas with different styles of food. One of the other unique things that we really loved about the Virgin Cruise Line is that they had some boxes of food to go. For example, we could grab sushi in the galley and take it with us and put it in the fridge and then snack on it whenever we wanted. In fact, we woke up hungry one morning and we had tuna sushi roll for breakfast, and it was really good. We would get charcuterie to go, and we would take those to our room and maybe eat it on the balcony whenever we felt hungry and wanted a little snack. And that turned out to be a really nice concept that we've never seen on another cruise line. But what they want you to do is really to sit down and place your order, and then they wait on you. There are a few exceptions to that. So if you're getting like for breakfast or for dessert, things that are already pre-made like a donut or a Scarlet Lady, those are already sitting there pre-made ready for you to take, so you can just walk up and get those. But overall, they really don't want you waiting on yourself. They really want to wait on you, and it's much more efficient because you don't have a lot of people standing in 3 or 4 different lines. The waiters just run around and get all of your food and bring it back to you. So when you sit down on your table is this little stand, and you put the flag up, and the flag tells them that you're ready to order. And then, like I said, they shag all the food around for you, and when you are done at your table, then you just leave everything there to be cleaned.
Okay, so this is the taco place. It's like breakfast and lunch. They're closed at dinner, but their breakfast chorizo taco is amazing. And they have a pork taco for lunch, but we just don't have time to try all the food. Okay, so we keep going. We have the noodle bar, which honestly, Chuck and I looked at the menu and it just didn't look that good. We have hot off the press. This is like a panini bar. They had all kinds of paninis and they looked really good, but again, this is a 5-day cruise, so we don't have time to do everything. They have these hand washing stations like everywhere.
Some of the bars, like the Dock House, serve drinks as well as small food appetizers, like hummus or shrimp. We never had time to try any of that because it was only a 5-day cruise, but the food that we saw looked really, really good. The Sun Club Cafe is located on deck 16 outside. Chuck and I made sure that we went there because we love poke bowls. This is a place with poke bowls and bao buns and a few other items. So not a huge menu, but we really did enjoy being able to go there. Let's talk about drinks now a little bit more. All of the essential drinks are included with your cruise ticket. Of course, there are some places where you can pay extra, like for pressed juices, specialty coffees, liquor, of course, is extra. When it comes to drink, I've already talked about cider, which is usually my go-to drink. But Chuck loves IPAs, so now let's talk a little bit about the beer. The Draft House is the main place where Chuck would go to get his beers. They were actually having supply issues, so they didn't even have any IPAs on tap. They had 3 IPAs. One was called Laces, and the other one was a regular Lagunitas, and then there was the Lagunitas Little Something Something. And those were really the only choices. The issue we had with the Draft House is that they weren't open until 5 p.m. And Laces is one of the beers that you couldn't get at a lot of the other bars. They only had it at the Draft House. So that was one of the things that I think a number of the people were complaining about, is the Draft House opening so late. I will say when it comes to cocktails that the cocktails are super strong, Chuck and I both thought. So our ciders and beers would be $8, $9, $10, and you could get a cocktail for $10 to $13. So it was really a much better value. While you watch more of the boat tour video, I'm going to talk more about the differences in Virgin and also talk about our overall impressions. As I mentioned before, it was the fact that the cruise line was going to be adults only that really drew us to Virgin. And after being on the ship, we really loved not having kids running around, no kids screaming. It was super nice. And in addition to that, we really felt like we weren't being babysitted by the cruise line either. We liked that there weren't a lot of announcements. We liked not having to sign a towel out in order to take one to the pool. We felt like they treated you like a responsible adult, and that was really nice. We're foodie people, so we thought the food was excellent. But we know it's not for everyone. For example, if you go on a cruise to have lobster night, there's going to be no lobster on this boat that we saw anywhere on any of the menus. Also, if you like the formal nights, dress code is very informal. In fact, you can wear t-shirts to the dining room, and of course Chuck did. We also like the fact that Virgin has a no tipping policy. So that applied on the boat, as well as the shore excursions that I saw would say no tipping. So while we did tip our cabin boy Putu, we left some money for him, and we did tip on our shore excursions, we didn't feel that we had to, but it just made the whole process much easier on the boat, because when you got ready to buy something, you would just show your little bracelet, and they would scan it in, and so through the whole dinner, like everything was taken care of. You never had to sign a receipt, add the tip on, do any of that. Everything comes back on the Virgin Voyage app, and there you can see the cost of everything, which was really nice. The service on the entire boat was excellent. Every staff member we met had come from another cruise line, and they had anywhere from like 15 to 5 years of prior experience. So it felt like they had hired the best of the best from the other cruise lines, and they were very personable people as well, which was really nice. Also, all the employees told us that Virgin was great to work for and really nice to their employees. The managers at all of the restaurants came up to us to be sure that everything was going well, which we really appreciated. We really liked that there was a lot of nooks and areas to sit in, lots of water views throughout the boat, whether you're eating inside, outside. We just really enjoyed the outdoors part of the boat. It was just very well laid out, and I especially loved our balcony with the hammock. We felt like Virgin was the best cruise line for groups that we have ever seen. There were lots of group seating areas, inside, outside. The dining rooms had big tables for groups, which you can't always find in a lot of places. The game areas, it just seemed like there were a lot of like bridal groups or different kinds of groups on the cruise when we were there. And so that was one of the differences we feel like was nice about Virgin, even though we weren't in a group. It shouldn't be a surprise that Virgin was really great for music. And so if you love good music and you love to dance, even though Chuck and I didn't dance, we still loved and enjoyed all the music, but I think this would be a good cruise line for you. There is free Wi-Fi on the boat, which of course you need to get the Virgin Voyage app to work, but it also includes some of the social media sites. So Facebook absolutely seemed to be so slow, it was just useless for us. But it seemed like Truth Social, Telegram, those both worked really fine. And if you wanted to upgrade, I think it was $50 and you could upgrade the Wi-Fi. I don't know if that worked a lot better. We didn't spend the money. It's a little tricky to get on, but there are lots of people when you first get on the boat to help you sign in if you need help. To us, the technology that Virgin gives you with the Virgin app just made a lot of sense. It makes it much more functional to get on and off the boat, to have your entertainment list with you, to look at your portfolio, a lot of the other reasons I've already explained before. So definitely a unique win for Virgin. We also felt that Virgin was unique in that they did a lot of things to help protect the environment. Because of the app, they didn't give you these daily pieces of paper. You got one when you got on board, and if you wanted more pieces of paper, you could go get them. But the other thing is that there was only one trash can in the public area in the whole entire boat. Totally blew us away. You just set things down and trash just disappeared. And I think they did that so that they could recycle everything that was put away without having to go through the trash. So they did a really great job with that and very unique. Also the water. We never saw any bottled water. I don't even think they sold it on the boat. You had water in a container in your room, and there were water fill stations throughout the boat. And most people had their own container for their water. So it was just really nice to see that they did a lot of things to help that make a lot of sense. Chuck and I are not smokers, so when it comes to smoke, we hate sitting on a balcony and having smoke from someone else drifting up to us while we're sitting outside. And the one thing I liked about Virgin, which surprised me because it's European and a lot of European people smoke, They have limited smoking areas, so there's only a few places on the boat where you're allowed to smoke, and you are not allowed to smoke on your balcony. Chuck and I are not pool people when it comes to a cruise ship, but if you are, unless you're willing to share with a lot of other people, then Virgin may not be right for you. Because to me, the pool was the smallest pool I've seen on a cruise ship, and it was way too small for the number of people on that boat and super, super crowded. While most cruise lines may have their own private island in the Caribbean, Virgin does not. What they have is a private resort, which is probably only 3 or 4 years old, that's been built in Bimini. I will say that I would give it a total F for failure. Chuck and I absolutely hated it. We got there in the afternoon, probably about, 1, 2 o'clock, and it was just this thumping techno music and rap music, and it was just super loud. All I could hear was boom, boom, boom. And it didn't matter where you were in the resort because it's not super big. The pools had lots of people. All of the lounge chairs were basically taken. We found 2 chairs out in the sun, but it was just not an enjoyable experience to us. Now, we did hear people who went super early in the morning said that it was more chill at that time. So we are beach people who are chill. And for us, the thumping music just, I couldn't even think. So we didn't even get a drink. We didn't get food, which they have. There is a separate area for the VIP people. I don't know if you can pay to get into that, but it looked like a nicer area, but still you were listening to that boom boom music. When it came to embarkation and disembarkation, I have to say this was the easiest we have ever done on any cruise line, and I can't imagine it being any more streamlined than it was. I've already told you about how we got on the boat easily. To get off, all we did was carry our bag off and didn't even have to show a passport. You go to this machine in their new terminal and put your face up to it, and the facial recognition, I guess, somehow matches the electronic passport you scanned in earlier. So it was like super easy. We felt like the cruise was more enjoyable because we didn't feel like we were being nickel and dime to death for every little thing. So it is mostly all inclusive. I will say that you do have options on the menus that you can pay more for if you want to eat that. So like in the wake, you can pay for a tomahawk steak if you want that. But to me, it's very optional and it seems very fair in the pricing. So we liked that we didn't feel like there was a lot of extra money that we had to spend. Also, they have really great promotions. So normally you can get sailor loot, as they call it, which is like credit to spend on board on the bar tab or excursions on board or the gift shops. We had sailor loot and ended up only spending a couple $100 more beyond what our initial cruise cost was. So that made the trip definitely much more enjoyable. My final summary would be, if you're really into great entertainment, then stick with Royal Caribbean. If you're into excellent food and excellent service, by far the best that we've been on is Oceania. But that's at a very high price point. If you're in for slightly less level of great food and service for a lot less price, then Virgin Voyages is definitely what you want to try. We felt like it was a really great value. Virgin is definitely different, but we feel like it's different in a good way. In fact, we loved it so much that we've already booked another cruise. So hopefully this video will help you decide if Virgin Voyage is right for you.